I'm truly excited that you've decided to join me today because we're about to explore a concept that can profoundly change the way we experience life: the power of controlling your reactions. In a world that is constantly changing, where we're often overwhelmed by situations, challenges, and people beyond our control, it can feel as though we're just reacting to everything happening around us. We may snap at someone when they annoy us, become frustrated when things don't go our way, or get anxious when faced with uncertainty. But here's the thing: we have the incredible power to control how we respond to these situations. We can choose how we react to the world around us. And Stoic philosophy teaches us that it's not the events themselves that disturb us, but our reactions to them. So, today, let's explore how you can regain control over your responses and, in turn, lead a more peaceful, focused, and resilient life. Let's think about it for a moment. We live in a world that's designed to provoke quick reactions. Whether it's social media, work pressures, or the constant flow of information, we're often expected to react in real time. And the unfortunate truth is that our natural instinct isn't always to respond thoughtfully. We often feel the urge to react impulsively, to respond in anger, frustration, or even anxiety. But what if we could step away from that knee-jerk reaction and take control of our responses? What if we could pause, reflect, and choose the way we react, no matter the situation? That's where Stoicism comes in. Stoicism, as an ancient philosophy, offers us a powerful tool to help us understand the true nature of our reactions. The Stoics, philosophers like Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, and Seneca, taught that we cannot control the events that happen to us, nor can we control the actions of others. What we can control, however, is how we respond to those events and how we react to those people. The Stoics recognized that the way we react can either give us peace or rob us of it. So, they focused on developing the ability to control their responses, creating a sense of inner calm, no matter what life threw their way. In his famous work Meditations, Marcus Aurelius writes, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This quote is incredibly powerful because it emphasizes the central idea of Stoicism. It's not the events themselves that disturb us, but the judgments and reactions we make about them. Life will always present us with challenges. People will irritate us, traffic will be frustrating, and things won't always go according to plan. But we don't have to be controlled by these external events. We have the power to choose how we react. Imagine for a moment that you're driving home from work and, out of nowhere, someone cuts you off in traffic. Your immediate reaction might be anger, frustration, or even a sense of injustice. But pause for a moment. What if, instead of reacting immediately, you chose to take a deep breath and reflect on the situation? What if you reminded yourself that the other driver's actions don't have to affect your peace of mind? The situation is outside your control, but your reaction is entirely within your grasp. This is the essence of Stoic thought, choosing how you respond, regardless of the external circumstances. Now, you may be thinking, that sounds great, but it's hard to control my reactions, especially when I'm stressed or angry. And you're right. It's not always easy, especially when emotions run high. But the good news is that, like any skill, controlling your reactions can be practiced. The more you consciously choose to pause and reflect before reacting, the easier it becomes. It takes time, patience, and consistency, but you can retrain your mind to respond with calm, clarity, and resilience. And as you do, you'll begin to notice how much more peaceful and centered you feel, even in the face of challenges. One of the most effective Stoic practices to help with controlling reactions is to pause before you respond. When faced with a stressful or irritating situation, take a moment to breathe deeply. This brief pause gives you the space to assess the situation and choose a response that is aligned with your values and goals. Instead of reacting impulsively with anger or frustration, you can choose a response that maintains your peace of mind. This practice of pausing and reflecting is incredibly powerful. It's a small action, but it can transform the way you approach life. Another key Stoic practice is the concept of reframing. Reframing is all about changing the way you look at a situation. It's easy to fall into a negative mindset when something goes wrong. We tend to think in terms of problems, difficulties, or injustices. But Stoics teach us to reframe these experiences as opportunities for growth and learning. When you face a challenge, instead of seeing it as an obstacle, try to reframe it as a lesson or a chance to build character. For example, if you experience a setback at work, instead of getting frustrated or discouraged, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this make me stronger? Reframing allows us to view situations with a greater sense of perspective and control, which ultimately helps us respond more thoughtfully. Point one of the most profound Stoic practices for controlling reactions is the concept of negative visualization. Now, before you get worried, this doesn't mean focusing on negative thoughts or feeling pessimistic. Rather, negative visualization involves imagining the worst-case scenario. What would happen if you lost the things that you value most in life, like your health, your job, or your loved ones? The goal isn't to dwell on loss, but to appreciate what you have in the present moment. By practicing negative visualization, we become more aware of how fragile life can be, and it helps us cultivate a greater sense of gratitude for what we already have. It also helps us react with more grace when we face challenges, knowing that nothing in life is permanent. In addition to these practices, it's important to realize that our emotional responses are often driven by our thoughts. We may feel frustrated because we interpret a situation as unfair, or we may feel anxious because we fear the unknown. By changing our thoughts, we can change our reactions. The Stoics teach us that our thoughts are within our control, and by cultivating rational thinking, we can prevent ourselves from being swept away by negative emotions. When you find yourself reacting impulsively, ask yourself, is this the most rational response? Is this reaction serving me, or is it taking away my peace? The ultimate goal of controlling your reactions is not to suppress your emotions, but to approach them with wisdom and perspective. It's about realizing that life will always present challenges, but you can choose how to respond to them. By mastering your reactions, you regain control over your emotional state, your actions, and your life. This gives you the freedom to respond in a way that is calm, rational, and aligned with your values. So, how can you start practicing the art of controlling your reactions today? One of the simplest ways is to incorporate daily reflection into your routine. At the end of each day, take a moment to reflect on how you responded to the situations you encountered. Did you react impulsively, or did you take a pause and choose a thoughtful response? Reflecting on your reactions helps you become more aware of your emotional patterns and gives you the opportunity to make adjustments moving forward. Another helpful practice is setting intentions at the start of each day. Think about the challenges or situations you might face during the day, and set an intention to respond with calmness, patience, and clarity. By setting this intention, you give yourself a guide for how to respond when things don't go as planned. Ultimately, the power to control your reactions lies within you. The more you practice this skill, the more peace and resilience you'll experience in your life. The Stoics believed that true happiness comes from within, not from the external world. And when you learn to control your reactions, you take back your inner peace and create a life that is calm, composed, and filled with wisdom. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you found value in this video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.